Hi guys, I have for you today a flip through of a vintage fashion themed journal. I made two of them. This one is a hardcover. I'll start with that one. And I also have a fabric covered one. I'll do a separate video for that so they're not so long. The closure on this is a belt. I dug through my stash of sewing notions and I came across this buckle and I thought, ooh, I'll make a belt out of it with elastic and use that as a closure. And then I made the cover. It's just cardboard and I glued on some images out of magazines and so forth of clothing that I liked, and then I printed out some words that pertain to fashion and glued those on as well. There's two signatures in this, and the tassel on the side is removable, although it's a challenge to get on and off, but you can take it off if you'd like. This is a pin with some beads hanging from it. Inside the front cover, are we centered here? We have a library pocket with a library card for dressmaking up to date 1905, and it was published by Butterick Publishing Company. And the first page is a pocket, and that holds a little brown envelope that was embossed. I used an embossing folder. Okay, I can get it out. Maybe not. Maybe it'll remain a surprise. And there's a small journaling card inside. And a tag with this woman who almost looks like she's dressed like a flight attendant, but she's not. I think this is a swing tag. Yeah. So you can swing the top out of the way and right on 3 available sides there. Silk flower, and then this is a fabric. It's cut from like a doily, and then I dyed it with, I believe, some Kool-Aid. Here we have a belly band, another fashionably dressed lady with a little flowered dress, journaling card, shaped journaling card, and this is from a die cut that I have, and a journaling card that says, Helen, your hat looks so sharp. And as you can see, Helen's hat looks a little dangerous. I always like to add snark, just a little bit. This is some airbrushed paper, and here we have this little girl in a pink dress with black stripes, and I had paper that mimicked that. And this, I don't remember whose channel I saw it on, but they embossed tissues or paper towels or toilet paper. You take 2 or 3 layers of it, spritz it with water, and put it in an embossing folder and send it through, and then when you tear it, you get that nice steckled edge. The only thing I didn't like about it is that if you're not careful, the layers will come apart. So I might have put some, I think I used a glue stick just to keep those layers together before I sewed it down. We have a journaling card, the music sheet background, a lady in a shirt dress, and a recipe card. And I thought this was from, yeah, it's from Simplicity. Maybe it was a recipe for an apron, or pattern for an apron, I mean. Not sure. Here's a collage page that has a little bit of room left on there, so you can do some journaling if you'd like. Some ribbon, a silk flower, raffle tickets. She looks like she might have a headache. This is glued down. It's not a pocket. Oh, it is a pocket. My mistake. Oh, and there's nothing in there because I thought I glued it down. I'll have to get something in there. But there's 3 buttons embellishing the corner. Here's a brown paper bag with the flash card and a journaling card for pantyhose that have the seam down the back, which the only time I ever wore those was for a dance class. Recitals. I tap danced till I was 40, so I wore those. Loved that. Loved that activity. Here's an ad for some bathing suits. Pink lace scallop trim there. A button that was or a paper clip that was embellished with buttons. And it holds a journaling card for hair tainers, which what we would call combs. I don't know, do they still sell those anymore? I think so. You might be able to find them. Could you imagine doing your hair like that every day? Oh, just the amount of time they must have spent on stuff. Now we spend it scrolling, right? Here's a fabric pocket, and it holds some buttons from Kmart, and a journaling card, and it's a new hat, and it's a Norman Rockwell image. You can write on the back. A die cut frame with a 3D flower sticker in the center. And over here we have an envelope with some rubber stamped 3 ladies in their dresses, and it says style. And inside is a check for girls' dresses, Butterick Publishing Company, and a coin wrapper, and it says focus on fashions. So I guess you could save your quarters. Save up your quarters for that new dress. In the center, we have a planner sheet, and these lovely ladies are on this journaling tag, and it looks like they are dressed for the evening. And it also came in pink, and it looks like maybe black or dark green. And I have this sparkly border sticker that I added along the edge. I thought it went well with their dresses. And over here we have another journaling tag. Again, she reminds me of a flight attendant from like Pan Am from days gone by. And I made a little hanger instead of doing a tag or a tassel or a fabric tab on there. I made a little hanger, and you can write on the back. And then this is just a sheet from an old, I guess it was a school textbook for shorthand, which, I don't think I could do that either. And the corners of the pockets have just some paper flowers. Here's a journaling card right on the back, and it's for simplicity. I guess it's the dress and the jacket, and it's part of the pattern instructions. Here's a pocket. It says style. We have the long black dress right on the back of that, and a grocery list. And the two of those together are kind of an oxymoron. An evening dress and a grocery list. Have you seen the trend out there where women are putting on their daughter's dance costumes so they can get their money out of them and wearing them to like wash the car or go to the grocery store? It's kind of funny. Here we have an uptuck with a blue shoe that to me screams Pilgrim, and a while you were out phone message sheet. Another ad for little girl dresses, or young girl. More of that. The other half of the bag has a journaling card. And I think this was a sewing pattern ad for that outfit. And then there's just some a patchwork background on the journaling card. Here's some journaling space, and to the right we just have 3 different types of washi tape to border the edge of the page. Stamped ladies in their lovely dresses. Here's an ad for shoes for $6. I will say they had some cute shoes back in the day. And here's some purses, or as they used to call them, a pocketbook. I think that's from the 60s. And another button card. Here's a belly band, lace. And we have this note card, slippers, nice envelope with it. Flips up that way. You can journal on the inside. It's a Mary Engelbright card. Two smaller pockets. She's dressed for evening. She's dressed for every day, I assume. And here's a business card for Judy Smith. And she was a buyer for Better Dresses and Suits. Woodward Lothrop, Washington, D.C. I found this in an estate sale. And then over here is a playing card from Trivia Challenge from 1964. And they are decked out in their groovy 60 outfits. Over here we have a single pocket. That has a music flash card. Some seam tape sewn down. And this is just a note sheet that's dotted Swiss. Not technically, there's no texture there, but that was appropriate. Love the color of it too. Here we have the belly band, and inside the belly band is a shaker card that I made in the shape of a dress. And this so reminds me of what a bridesmaid's dress would have looked like in the 70s. Because I can remember going to weddings where the dresses may not have been print, but, you know, they had the empire waist and with the long ribbon. It just reminds me of that. And then we also have this tag for inventory. You can write on that. This is from a magazine, and these are all American designer clothing pieces there. Here's a page with shoes on it. Some ladies in their frilly dresses. A single layer fabric flip. Some lace. And a silk flower. I think I skipped one here. Yeah. Small envelope. And inside that envelope is a raffle ticket. I don't know if I can get it out. But it is in there. I don't want to rip it. And then this is some paper that I painted with metallic watercolors. So we kind of have a check going on there. And then on the other side, I rubber stamped pink and green glasses. Here's some pom-pom trim and an ivory color. And then over here, this reminded me of like fresh picked cotton. We have a journaling card with a purse and shoe, again with the big buckle. That was very popular. And then an envelope from a Sears Roebuck catalog. And inside we have some money, play money, to apply to your order. And I thought this was an absolute hoot. These are pajamas, and they're geared towards like a teen girl or a college age girl. So for any of you out there who have that hard to shop for daughter or granddaughter or whomever, maybe she might like a set like this. Could you imagine a girl now walking through the halls of her dorm wearing something like that? Oh, be a laughing stock. And I have it glued down to a bridge tally sheet. But that one, I thought that one was a real doozy. Over here on a time card, I have a lady in a suit, so I thought it was appropriate to go on the time card. And then a journaling card with some more American designers. You can write on the back. Here's a pocket with a woman in a pants set. And we have an embellished Rolodex card with some fabric and a note card. It's just plain on the inside. Pretty paisley envelope. This one has a young girl in her dress. I would have worn something like that. I remember owning things like that as a kid. Also came in red. We have a satin strip turned into a tag. A pair of shoes with sparkly bows. And this is from an auto bridge game. Woman in a dress. On this side. And then over here we have a trifold tag with 3 different shoes. And you can write on the other side. And then this is from a home inventory book that you would have for your kitchen, living room, household items. And one was women's clothing. So I included that in there too. And that flips up so you can write on it. And this, I don't know if that would be called gimp trim or not, but that's a vintage trim. On that one, more shoes. Ooh, another missing pocket there. We have another one of the little Butterick checks. To put something in that as well. And then we have another fabric pocket. And in the fabric pocket, we have a bingo card with a woman in her red dress and her white gloves on the inside of that. And that's the back. So that's it for the hard-covered one. And I'll do the soft cover one as soon as I get a chance. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.